All right, real quick. I know it's been a long time. Y'all ain't heard from me in a while. We got a lot going on over here. Had to step back a little bit and kind of get myself together a little bit. Still working on that. Still not done with that. It is what it is. That's something I'm not gonna be able to announce on here, but I'm back in better spirits. We're gonna keep this going. I'm gonna try to be more consistent with this. I'm gonna start having a little bit of a schedule with this, and hopefully for the three people that still actually cares about this, I know at least two of you. I keep watching. Hopefully I can still say something that resonates with somebody, say something that people care about, something that somebody might think is funny. you know I'm still working on my setup. I'm still I don't have the greatest of lighting and the greatest of studio setup here. I can't say if I'm almost done getting to that point. We'll find out when we find out, right? We're gonna go on this journey together. But yeah, I'm back, and hopefully for good, okay? Y'all just stick with me, okay? Just for the people who still care about what I say on this thing, thank you. Keep listening. Hopefully you tell your friends and this turns into something. But the thing that inspired me, because I haven't been inspired, okay? I haven't been inspired for, what has it been, 4 months? I haven't been inspired to jump on here and talk to you guys in a while. Nothing of note has really been going on. Nothing out of the ordinary anyway. Nothing that deserved a whole thing for me to get on here and talk to y'all about. And I'm also going to start by saying I've been using a whole lot of TikTok, which I probably shouldn't. Like, I had a toxic relationship with Twitter, and I think me and Twitter has broken up. Okay, I've successfully gotten away from Twitter to my own betterment. Okay, I think it was for the best that we parted ways. But now I'm in a new toxic relationship with TikTok. And we beating each other's asses right now, and I haven't called the police because I'm just in love. And I know that TikTok only does this to me because it loves me. So I'm gonna you know find a way to create a healthy situation with TikToks. But TikTok is the new thing for me. I've been on TikTok, not scrolling the videos. That's brain rot, okay? Scrolling through video mindlessly, just randomly consuming content that way is brain rot. And I actively try not to do that. But I'm not going to lie. I've been using and abusing TikTok Live, man. Mostly because, like, I just need people to, how do I say this? I like the fact that you get to talk to people. Like, you get to hear them saying bullshit, and then they give you a chance to jump up there and tell them that is bullshit. That, I don't know how long anybody's been listening to me on here, but I enjoy that. I enjoy having contentious discussions. I don't really like talking to others about things I agree with. I don't like being in an echo chamber. It's fun to me to have kind of a contentious discussion. It doesn't even have to be a debate. Like, I just want to have a normal conversation with somebody that has opposing views and show people that you can do that in a kind of a healthy way. Like, I don't have to get into the mud with you. I don't have to I don't have to engage with your rage bait. I can actually argue in good faith and not return to you the negativity that you're trying to bring to the world. Like you know when something is rage bait, but I know when something is rage bait. Everybody knows when something is rage bait. But I'll jump into it anyway and see if the person who's on the other end is capable of just having a normal conversation. I say all of that to say I've been on TikTok lives arguing with niggas for the past couple of months. Okay. And what I've been seeing, it's a trend on there and it's kind of spilling over into a bunch of other places. It's starting to spill over into YouTube. It's starting to spill over into other platforms. This concept of black fatigue. Now, apparently, black fatigue, like a lot of the other words and terms that comes out on social media, it was a term that was created by black people that these fucking internet TikTok fucking Gen Z people came and bastardized. Okay, it was a term that we invented that the internet fucked up and made it mean something that had nothing to do with the original meaning. Just like woke, just like, all the other ones, all the other slang terms we use that they completely destroyed. It meant something else at one point. Apparently, when for the person who coined that term, it was supposed to mean like the fatigue that black people have going through this world with the systems in place, the microaggressions, just all the things that the average black person has to go through as a black person in America, and how it can wear down on you and how you can get tired of that shit. That's supposed to be what it means. I don't have like the definition pulled up in front of me. It's like a basic idea. I might, a lot of people, they'll argue with you about actually the technical definition was this, and you said this, and okay, nigga, but you know what I mean, right? But the internet, and this time when I say the internet, I mean the white community, they've found this term black fatigue and turned it into something else. Now black fatigue means basically them saying this without actually saying it is we tired of niggas. This is the new version. This is just like almost educational academic way of saying we're tired of niggas, right? We're tired of black people, right? And if you ask these people who are talking about they're having, these white people who are saying they have black fatigue, they won't say that they're tired of black people, because they still, the more cunning of them are still trying to come off as if they aren't racist and that they're just saying the hard truths, right? They will tell you, I'm not racist. I'm not saying that this is a problem with all black people. I'm just saying there's like a ghetto element or a victim mentality that we're tired of hearing, right? I'll try to deal with both of those. First, the ghetto thing, right? I find it funny that people these white people has grasped onto this term black fatigue to describe being tired of ghetto shit, of like basically like black people in Walmart fighting each other, people, black people stealing, black people being annoying in public places, as if other races of people don't do those things, as if white people, what we would probably call trailer trash, don't be in Walmart fighting each other, as if white people, or let's even to make it more specific, like white women who are basically the mother, the creation of the meme of the Karen, of the person who's their whole thing is them being annoying in public and making a scene and, I need to talk to the manager and like that whole thing. they're gonna pretend that doesn't exist and only talk about black people when we do it. It's not it's okay when they do it. It's a problem when we do it, right? And it's disingenuous, right? First of all, because you don't have to make a term to describe that. It's just what you're describing is just people being annoying. When you add black to it, you turn it into a whole other thing. Now it's not just about people just being annoying. Now it's something about them being black and being annoying that like particularly pisses you off. And to say that that's not racist is crazy. Like there is no way that you can say that and believe that and it not be racist. Like it makes no sense. But first of all people can be ghetto. All people are ghetto. And the thing is, what these people are basing this off of is basically videos. They are watching a bunch of videos being posted by a bunch of rage bait channels and rage bait pages who their thing is to rile up their base, to perpetuate this idea, to keep it going, to make the voices that are speaking out against this bigger. You know? They're using these videos, these curated videos. Here's the thing. And if I'm jumping around, forgive me. I don't have notes. I'm freestyling. This is all coming off the top of my head. So you have to forgive me. This probably isn't even going to be long. This isn't going to be an hour because I don't have an hour worth of things to talk about this because it is just racism, bro. It's just racism. No matter how you slice it, it's just racism. It's just saying you tired of niggas, you know. But it's disingenuous because you're saying it's I'm not racist. I'm not saying it's all of you. I'm just saying we're tired of the bad ones, right? We're tired of hearing all this from the bad ones. And I feel like if that were true, if it really was just, not all of you, I think most black people are cool. It's just that element. Y'all have that little element of people that are particularly annoying, and we're tired of that shit. Again, we got to ignore the white people who do the same shit, who are a very large population in this country. It's not like it's mostly niggas and it's only a couple of white people. Like I can find videos of white people. If I type in white people stealing at Walmart, if I type in white people fighting, if I type in white people doing whatever degenerate shit, a million videos are going to pop up. Not only that, if I do it long enough, the platform I'm using is going to keep feeding me more of it when I log back in automatically, where I don't even have to search for it. It's the same thing that's happening with these people. They're watching these YouTube channels. They're watching these pages that are curating all these videos, who's just feeding you videos of black people doing this, black people doing that. Don't you see how annoying black people are? We're tired of black people. We should do something about this. We need a final solution, right? And the people who consume this stuff are usually the types of people they're going to go back for more and more. And the algorithm is going to feed them more and more. And in a particular case of TikTok lives, if you're talking to people live and you're trying to have a conversation about it and they come into it a little turned up because this shit is racist, you can look at that as an example and say, see, they don't know how to control themselves. See, this just proves why we tired of you niggas. And you niggas, all you want to do is fight and scream. Well, obviously, they're going to come into your live fighting and screaming if you're talking shit about black people and they're a black person. Like, they're offended. You know, that's not like a moral failing on their part. That's not like them not being able to control themselves. It's them responding to you and what you did and what you said, you know? But this would make more sense. I'm sorry. I'm my brain is scattered here. But it would be more it would come off to me as honest if they called it ghetto fatigue, right? If they called it ghetto fatigue because they're trying to convince us that they're just mad at the ghetto shit, they don't actually hate black people, they just hate the ghetto shit, then I could kind of understand. I might even be able to get behind it a little bit. I mean, not really. It's anti-black, right? But it would how would I say, I wouldn't see you as being dishonest if you just called it ghetto and that's what you were talking about. But no, it's called black fatigue, which means me as a black person, all the other people as black people would fall in line with that. And any negative event you have with a black person is just going to be added to the bank of negative things you've seen about black people on the internet, because most of these people, they don't even interact with black people in real life. Let's be honest. All the negative shit that they're seeing about black people is coming off of TV, it's coming off of YouTube videos, it's coming off of Twitter videos, is coming off of they're watching gangster rap videos. Like, if you ask these people about the problems in the black community, most of them are going to say, well, it's the rap music and the drill music. Like, they really believe that, you know, most of us are YNs who are doing drills because of fucking trap music. You know, but these people aren't talking about ghetto. They didn't call it ghetto fatigue. They call it black fatigue. They're not just tired of the ghetto element. They're tired of niggas. They're tired of black people in general. That's what they really mean. If it wasn't what they really meant, they would have just said what they meant, which was ghetto, according to them. Ghetto fatigue. They don't mean ghetto fatigue. They don't mean they're tired of the ghetto shit and people fighting in Walmart, because they would also have a term called Mexican fatigue or Asian fatigue or white people or trailer trash fatigue. They don't have a word for that. Just, it's the same shit as when they start talking about black on black crime. You know, no other community has a term for that, because every other community in the world, the crime that's done is mostly by a person in that same community. Because that's kind of how it works. It's a proximity thing, right? And no other community says, damn, this white on white crime is out of control. We need to do something about it. Like, that's not even a thing. There's no such term as white on white crime. Nobody has ever said that in their life. Nobody has ever said Hispanic on Hispanic crime, Asian on Asian crime. People only say that for black people to make it sound scary and worse than it really is, you know? Just to go on a little tangent. It's the same thing they do with the 1350, right? So 1350 is at this point is just a white supremacist talking point. They're using FBI arrest statistics to back this up, saying black people are 13% of the population and commit 50% of the crime. That's what they say. The problem is what the source that they're getting that from isn't saying that first of all, it's not saying that the whole 13% of the population is committing the crime. So out of that 13% of the American population, like a percentage of the black community are the ones committing all that crime. It's a few people. But when they say it, they make it sound like it's all 13%. when we all know that most black people are just regular black people. They're just normal people like everybody else. They just go to work and come home, and we're not all criminals. We're not mostly criminals. We're not half criminals. It's like a percentage of a percentage. It's like maybe 2 or 3%, maybe at the most 5% of our community that are the criminal class. And they continue to do those crimes over and over again because they're criminals. And there's a socioeconomic element to that too, but I don't want to get too deep on that. But that's first. The whole 13% aren't committing 50% of the crime. It's like a percentage of a percentage. But even on top of that, the 50% that they're getting at there is of arrests. That's not for convictions. So it's not even actually saying that they committed the crime. They don't know for sure if they committed the crime because it's just showing how many people got put in handcuffs. And there's probably most likely a percentage of those people that were let go right after that, or they were exonerated right after that, or were found not guilty right after that. And apparently, I don't know where this source comes from. I'd have to do a little bit more research, but apparently we make up black people make up most of the exonerations in the penal system. Like we get let go for the most part, or I don't want to say for the most part because I don't have the exact statistic for that, but the majority of people who are let go or exonerated or proven that they actually didn't commit the crime that they were charged with is the black community. So all this proves when you say 1350, is actually proving the opposite of what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that we're 13% of the community and we're doing most of the crime. All it's really saying, because they use this to try to argue against systemic racism, right? Which we all know is a thing. It actually proves systemic racism. Because all you just proved with that statistic is that we're over policed and that we're pulled over more than everybody else and we're arrested more than everybody else and people put shit on us more than everybody else. And when they actually do the research and go through trial and go through all this, and that's not to say that we don't do shit. Of course we do shit, but every community does shit. What it is to say is that they be fucking with us. The police be fucking with us because they assume that we're all criminals. So that's where that statistic is coming from. It's not saying that we actually commit 50% of the crime. It's actually proven that we're being over policed systemically. The system. I know people don't want to hear this. They really are out to get us. They really are holding us back. They're doing this shit on us because we're black. That's systemic racism. It's literally proving the opposite of what you're trying to say. You know? But I brought that up because these people will tell you, oh, it's, well, you guys, you're 13% of the population, but you're committing 50% of the crime. You know, why are y'all so bad? Why are y'all so ghetto? Why are y'all doing all this? Why are y'all so annoying? Why are y'all so hard to be around? Why this is why nobody wants you in their communities, in their neighborhoods. You ruin every community you go to. And these are people who have probably met 3 black people in their whole lives. And I can speak as a person who drives around. I live in the Houston area. I drive around and have been in the homes of thousands of people, thousands of black people in hundreds of different neighborhoods all over this city. It's my job. Okay. And this is Houston is a big city. You could drive from one side of Houston to the other side of Houston for like an hour and a half and still be in Houston. And I've been doing this for over like 6 or 7 years now. I've been in thousands of houses, thousands of homes, met thousands of homeowners of all races. I've been in many, many neighborhoods, many what we would call black neighborhoods. And let me tell you, first of all, there's many, many, many very nice, very beautiful, stable, no gunshots going off in the background, nobody getting robbed, black neighborhoods, okay? A black neighborhood isn't always the hood, okay? The hood doesn't mean black neighborhood. It just so happens that the hood is usually filled with black people because of socioeconomic reasons that, again, I don't want to get into all of that. That's going to make this video even longer. But all black communities aren't the hood. As a matter of fact, if I'm going off of the experience I've seen, like most of them are pretty decent neighborhoods. Most of them are just regular hardworking people just going on about their day. You know, they're not all selling drugs. They're not all trap houses. It's mostly, most of the homeowners are either young families or old retirees. You know, and these are neighborhoods with mostly black and Hispanic people. And I live in one. I live in a neighborhood with mostly black and Hispanic people in the neighborhood. And it's a nice little suburb. People be chill. Ain't no gunshots in the background. It's not people being robbed and selling drugs. This ain't the hood. And it's mostly black people here and Hispanic people here. And that's all over this city. And I know it's not just like that here. So this idea of nobody wants you in your neighborhoods because you're so destructive is ridiculous and it's unfounded. And again, this is stuff, these people are not speaking from experience. They're speaking off of fucking videos they watched. They're speaking off of the talking head they like to listen to, whoever the right wing talking head is, or pundits, or even if it's dumb niggas like the Hodge twins or Brandon Tatum or Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't know why anybody want to listen to that nigga. They don't know what they're talking about. So that's two levels. The ghetto thing, the ghetto is, I can throw that out. It's not about the ghetto. These people are lying about that. So that's the first part. That's part one. Part two is the victim mentality thing. What they'll tell you is that we're tired of we have black fatigue. We're tired of having to hear about all the injustices to black people, and about how white people are bad and how the white man is holding you down, and all this. What it boils down to is we're tired of you telling us about our history, about how we treated y'all back in the day. And we're tired of hearing about how the effects of how we treated you back in the day is applying to today and to you. We're tired of hearing that. We're tired of hearing about how racism exists. We're tired of hearing about how the system is treating black people in this country, how they treated them then and how they're still treating them now. We're tired of hearing that. And they love bringing up what's his name? The actor, the old dude, the old black dude who's always in every fucking movie. I'm about to say Gordon Ramsay. What is his name? The one who played God in Bruce Almighty. I'm mad I can't remember his name. Anyway, y'all know who I'm talking about. Morgan Freeman. There we go. I was gonna be mad if I couldn't remember that shit. But they bring up what Morgan Freeman said. He's like, the only way to end racism is to not talk about it. And I love you, Morgan. I love all the movies you've been in. You my nigga, okay? I fucks with Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is a black all-star. He's a national treasure. We're not going to talk bad about Morgan Freeman. So I'm not going to do that to you. I think that thinking is misguided, okay? Because not talking about something that is still happening right now. Think about it like this. We went through hundreds of years of slavery in America, right? And then right after that, we went through the Reconstruction era after the war ended. And this is, at this time, black people, we're supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. That didn't really happen. Most of us ended up being sharecroppers working on the same plantations we were supposed to be freed from. Still, instead of not making no money at all, you're basically making pennies. Or like how the Sinners movie showed, A lot of people, they weren't even getting real money. They were getting tokens that they can use, like company tokens you can use in the town. Like you couldn't use it. Like it was wood chips that you could only use to buy from certain places. It wasn't even real money. We went through that for a little while. We went through the black code era. We went through the Jim Crow era directly after that, where, you know, resources were held from us another way. So instead of saying, you know, they basically held black people back by saying, look, y'all do y'all thing, we do our thing, we can live together like that. And unfortunately for us, because a lot of the public things are paid for with tax money, like school, for example. School is paid for with property tax. You know, the community who has the highest pool of property tax money are probably going to have better schools. What community do you think would be the ones with the better schools in that situation? The white ones, right? Who would have the worst schools in that situation? The black ones, right? You know, just kind of using our brain a little bit. And that went on for a while until the Civil Rights Act was passed. And, you know, on paper, everything was desegregated and we all had the same rights technically on paper. And let's ignore that, all the other things that ended up coming out after that we were able to prove that were race based, that were actually happening, and things that are happening at this point. Those people during the civil rights movement, right, that were fighting against it, the powers that be that implemented this shit in the first place, that saw black people as second-class citizens and that they didn't deserve to be in the same spaces and have the same resources as white people. If they're forced on paper to sign into law that we all have to be equal, does that mean they're not racist anymore? Did these people disappear? Did they disintegrate into thin air? You know, did they say, you know what, y'all make a lot of sense, we're going to change this? Or were they under pressure and signed it just to keep from what was going to happen from happening? You know, these people were not benevolent and changed this was not like the Pharaoh in the Prince of Egypt, where Moses was trying to convince him to let his people go and his heart was being hardened. He really wanted to do it, but God was hardening his heart to make him not do it. It wasn't that situation. These people really just didn't fuck with us. And when the Civil Rights Act was passed, that didn't make them start fucking with us after that. Like, they still hated niggas. They still wanted to be separate from niggas. They begrudgingly signed into law that we were ending segregation and that we were going to give people equal rights. He did that begrudgingly. These people didn't go away. These people's viewpoints and worldview didn't go away. Their idea of where they believe black people should be in the pecking order didn't go away. And a lot of them are still alive, and a lot of them were still in power right after that happened. You don't think these people, just think about it like this. You don't think those people found covert ways and written into laws in a covert way, things that they knew would disproportionately affect black people? Given all that context I just gave you, right? Like, I want to break this down to people because they make it seem like, well, we have rights now, so we're equal. So what are you complaining about? History has consequences. Okay? And we all can agree on the history. And I feel like we should be able to agree that because of the history and what happened in history, those things affected the children and the grandchildren and their grandchildren after that. If you're coming from the stock of people who were never able to build wealth in the first place, then of course their grandchildren and great grandchildren are going to be in a lower socioeconomic status. And that's directly because of the race-based practices that were done to them historically. It didn't start over. We never caught up. Okay? We didn't get reparations. We didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. We're not on the same playing field. It's not the same. That's why people keep bringing it up. That's why we have to keep mentioning racism and what happened in history and the people in charge, the racist people in charge, and the things that they did to us. That's why we can't stop talking about it, because it still affects us today. It's not the victim mentality to acknowledge that. It's just history. And yes, we were victimized. And just because we can recognize that we were historically victimized, this isn't like a debilitating disease. The way they talk about the victim mentality, they make it sound like because we recognize all the racial hatred that we've gone through and all the ways that we've been kept back as a community back in the day and how that affects us now. They think that everybody's just like, oh, well, you know, the white man, they held us back, so I guess I can't go to school. Oh, the white man held us back, so I guess that means I'm not going to get a job. Oh, the white man held us back, I guess I just can't do nothing. That's not what's happening. Us acknowledging what happened to us in history is not this debilitating thing that keeps us stuck where we can never progress in life. You can still get a decent job and work hard. That's what most of us are doing. That's what most of us are doing. Most of us are just regular people. We go to work, we go to school, we do what we have to do to take care of our family, and we come home and we're just chilling. This idea that because we're not going to ignore and act like that shit didn't happen, that means we're just stuck and we will never be able to progress because we haven't forgotten the shit that happened to us. It don't work like that. And nobody else is told to do that. No other group is told, oh, well, I know you went through the Holocaust, but I mean, that was so long ago. Why are you still talking about it? Just get over it. Nobody else is told to get over it. Niggas is the only one that's always told to get over some shit. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is. I wonder why nobody, like, I've never in my life heard somebody say, why does the Japanese, why do y'all talk bad about the bombs that went off in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? You know, that was so long ago. Get over it. You know, why do these people never talk like that about I don't know why I can't talk about the Israelis out there in Israel/Palestine right now? Why am I never hearing that the Israelis just need to forget what apparently, you know, they saying that God promised them that land, right? You know, they're going off of the Bible or the I think it's the Torah in the Jewish faith or whatever. It's basically the same thing. They're not told to get over that. They're not told, oh, well, I mean, I know it says that, but I mean, y'all left here a long time ago. Y'all trying to come back now. Why are y'all just making trouble? Just get over it and go somewhere else. Leave this Palestine, Israel shit alone. Nobody tells them that. Right? Nobody tells us to forget about what happened in 9/11. Niggas bring up 9/11 every chance they get. Never forget is literally what they say. Never forget 9/11. Nobody says, oh, well, that was 20 years ago. I mean, we haven't had a terrorist attack like that in a long time. That was so long ago. Why are people still talking about that? Why don't they just let it go? We're the only ones told to do that. Even though the legacy of what happened to us in the past is still affecting us right now. Even though the people who were in charge back then, for the most part, are still in charge now, or their children that they taught that hatred to is still in charge now. It's ridiculous. This victim mentality shit is stupid. It's not a victim mentality. It's people correctly recognizing that they were victimized and recognizing also that there's been no rectification for that. It's never been fixed. There will be nothing to talk about if there were restitution for what happened. If there was a way for us to catch up. It's like Malcolm X said, bro. You can't stab somebody 6 inches with a knife and then pull it out 3 inches and be like, well, see, I mean, we did something. What are you complaining about? Like, nigga, you still stabbed me. You know, I think about it like this, and I'm gonna end it here because I think I've been going long enough, and that's really all I wanted to talk about. I don't really have much else to say about this because it really is just racism when people, and I also hate it when black people do it, like these black conservatives. I don't even want to talk about them niggas, bro. These niggas are lost. Most of them are just doing it for money. The people who really believe this, I don't know what to say to them niggas, but I think about it like this. You got one family, and you got a second family. And this one family here has been beating down on this family and subjugating this family and ruling over this family for generations and generations and generations and generations. And they have a conflict in this family and say, damn, maybe we shouldn't be doing that anymore. Nah, we still want to keep doing it. Nah, but it's wrong. Nah, but what about this? Nah, and they fight. We still over here just... We're just in the middle, you know, we're just there at this point because we're still under the thumb of these guys. And this family says, you know what? We are going to stop messing with y'all like that. You know, at least all the worst parts of it. We're still going to subjugate you somehow. And we say, oh, okay, I guess we can call that progress. And for generations, this family is still a second-class citizens compared to this family. And then a couple more generations happen. And then eventually we say, you know what? Enough is enough. We got to stop this shit. And the families tussle a little bit. Some of them decide to talk to the other side and say, man, don't you realize this is wrong? Maybe you should think about this. This is not Christian. Some other people in this family say, man, fuck that shit. We about to, you know, they get a little buck on them. But there's a little bit of a conflict. And then they say, you know what? We'll stop this. We'll make a contract saying we're not going to subjugate y'all. We're going to make y'all equal to us in every way. And you remember that this has been going on for generations and generations and generations. I have a question for you. After that paperwork is drawn up and they make the contract saying that they're going to be treating them equally, they won't be second class anymore. Are they equal now? Are they on the same level now? When these guys have made it where they can't read, they made it where they can't start any businesses, they can't create any wealth, they can't do anything. These people had generations to build all that up. These guys are like, oh, well, you know, we got to figure it out. And they've just been figuring it out this whole time. And we've only been equal for like the past 40 years. 40, I guess it's technically 60 years now. You know, it is still people alive today who lived through that time where we were second class citizens. Are those two groups equal now? You know? Is it fixed because they decided to stop subjugating them now? Do we give the white people who fought and died, because they love bringing that up, white people fought and died, they were fighting their brothers to stop slavery, and they failed to mention the other side of white people who were fighting and dying to keep it going. Okay. And when those two decide to fight and die and they come to their conclusion and say, oh, you know what? It was bad. Let's not do it anymore. Don't you think the other side who's been subjugated this whole time is going to say, yeah, but I mean, what do I do now? Like, I'm starting from scratch, you know? Y'all have all this shit. Y'all have all this wealth. Y'all have all these resources. Y'all have everything, infrastructure, based off of our sweat, based off of what we created here. We've been working for free for you, and we haven't been able to build up shit. We haven't been able to learn to read. We haven't been able to open businesses. That's why we have to sharecrop, because those are the main skills we learned. I mean, we learned other stuff. We invented stuff, but those were outliers for the majority of the population. It wasn't like that. It's not the same, bro. We're not on the same level. We're still fighting to catch up. We still got another few hundred years of catching up to do, because we haven't been paid any reparations, any restitution. Like, these people are deathly afraid of the concept of reparations. And I don't understand why. The root word in reparations is repair. It's not free money. I'm going to go another tangent. Reparations is not you just giving us free money. Reparations is a debt that's owed to us for all the generations and generations and generations of free labor we did for you. We built up this whole country for you for free. Not to say y'all ain't do nothing, but we did most of it. That's why the slavery business was booming so bad. It was like the engine that kept this thing running, because you didn't have to pay people. You had us doing the work for you. We built the shit for free. And we didn't ask you to say sorry. We didn't say we need to come up here and just talk trash to y'all and make you really feel bad. All we were expecting was to at least get something out of all these generations and generations of what was basically one of the most evil and wicked institutions on the planet. Because they talk about, well, other people were slaves too. The Irish were slaves too, and were indentured servants. The Irish were not slaves for life. The Irish's children didn't become slaves once they were born. That was just us. They got to leave eventually. We couldn't leave. We were slaves for life. Your children were slaves for life. It kept going until your line ended, or until 1865. And even that wasn't enough to free everybody. The way no other slaveholding population, they didn't do it the way we did it. It was unique. That's why we won't shut up about it. And it's recent. It's 100 years ago, less than 200 years ago. We have people alive today whose grandparents were slaves, whose parents were sharecroppers. We have people who are alive today who lived through the Jim Crow era. My grandparents. This is not ancient history. That's why we're still talking about it. That's why we need reparations. If we had reparations, then we wouldn't be complaining so much. We might not stop complaining at all, because obviously there's still something to complain about, even if you pay somebody for it. But y'all want your cake and eat it too. Y'all want to be able to do all the subjugating and the marginalization, and then just stop and then say, well, will you stop complaining? God damn, we stopped doing it, didn't we? That's not enough. And it's not the victim mentality to recognize that. But anyway, this black fatigue shit is a farce. It's not valid. It's thinly veiled racism. Very, very thinly veiled racism. And you know what? We fatigued with you niggas too. But anyway, I think that's the end of it for me. Uh, hopefully, I got something else to rant about here soon. I'm gonna try to be more consistent with this here, but this is just the beginning. And if anybody else wants to talk to me about this, leave in the comments. I'll put you on stream. We'll talk about it. Honestly, I wanted to play this video of this black guy talking about flag fatigue. Sorry. I was going to do that, but it's a waste of time because no information is gained from listening to a bootlick agreeing with racists about how they're tired of niggas. This is that Chris Rock shit. This Chris Rock made the stand-up special where he's like, I love black people, but I hate niggas. It's that. And it's anti-black. And it's stereotypes. Everybody's not like that. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But everybody's not like that. And even if they are like that, it's not a representation of our race. I'll talk about this and then I'll go. A lot of this also, I'm surprised I'm just now thinking about it right now. This didn't crop up until this fucking Carmelo Anthony shit. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing explaining the whole case. You probably already know about it. But this Carmelo Anthony thing about him stabbing that kid at the track meet. And, some of the people supported Carmelo Anthony because he was black. There's just some people that are like that. But I think for the most part, and I feel like if you're being intellectually honest, you would recognize this too. I think for the most part, the people who did support Carmelo, it was mainly just because they don't want to see this kid get railroaded. Because we have situations, and I know it's different states with different laws and all this other shit. But we've seen shit where people have done way more egregious things than what this kid has done. And what he's done is not cool. And it's unfortunate that it happened like that. Nobody should have died from that situation. But we've seen there's been situations where people have done way more. They've killed more people. They've done it in a much more egregious way. And they were not black, and they got off on self-defense. So I can understand why some people will want to say, hey, I want to see a fair trial. If all these other people are able to do this shit, I know bro should be able to, get his self-defense claim. If that's self-defense, then this is most definitely self-defense, is how a lot of people are seeing it, right? But these white people and these white racists who are hyping them up are saying, see, they're supporting black people killing white people. We need to do something about this. Which led to what happened after that, which was the white lady who called that black kid the N-word. And you see people in the comment section on there like, yeah, that's right. We're tired of this. We need to fight back. We're fighting back against the racism, and we're tired of this. We're tired of the victim mentality. We're tired of you you black people who always are complaining. We're tired of being treated this way. We're fighting back. We're tired of being having racism done to us. We're gonna fight back against this racism by supporting racism. By giving money to somebody. This isn't an ambiguous situation where it may go one way or the other. There's no court case to be had here, right? At least Carmelo Anthony, we don't know all the information. So it might come out in court that he was completely justified, and the evidence will point that he's completely justified, right? With this lady, there's no ambiguity. She's literally just being racist. And these people are like, yeah, we're fighting back. We're fighting back against what we're saying is racism with some more racism. And I'm supposed to give a fuck about you and your black fatigue. Fuck you. Fuck this black fatigue shit. And I hope the nearest black person is ghetto around you and is the most annoying and ghetto person possible just to make you mad. And I'm going to end it right there. Y'all have a good day.